I work for the Forest Service, and the Forest Service, we're a full-time incident management team for the Forest Service, and as such, we're, like a lot of federal agencies, we have regulations and rules we have to follow, and every agency and department has different things they allow you to use. And so there are some restrictions, and we have the same restrictions, and working within those restrictions is hard because while I understand whether there are security issues or control of message issues or whatever they might be for the federal agencies, the public doesn't understand or know, and the public has an expectation of how they will be engaged with these days. The once-a-day press release approved press release issued by your government source is not good enough anymore. It's not timely enough. It's old by the time it's written and posted. People are thinking, because of their experience on CNN and other places like that, that news is instantaneous and that information is instantaneous. We watch incidents happen across the world, and we're getting it now. And that's sort of the expectation on a fire. And unfortunately, not only from the agency standpoint, but from the incident management and incident command system structure itself is not set up to provide instantaneous news. We have a cycle, the planning P of the day, and traditionally, once a day, people come in from the field and tell us what happened all day, and then they tell us what's going to happen tomorrow, and that's the only information we get. So a big part of what we're having to focus on and that we're needing to really work toward is we have a new demand from the public. We may never be able to feed it fully, but we have an obligation and a response to help communities in crisis get what they need, when they need it, in the form they need it. And that's going to mean that we engage on social media, and that we engage in what I think is the most important part of social media, and that is it's a two-way conversation. Most federal sites are one way. We're good at the push. We're not very good at listening and incorporating and speaking conversationally. We speak very corporately and very government. To engage in conversation with people, real people, in real time, is hard, I think, for the government to do. My opinion is many government agencies have a difficult time doing that. So, but for me, I'm, as a public information officer, the person who is in the community, hearing from the community, and hearing when they are very unhappy with me or my team because they're not getting what they need, when they need it, how they need it. Our difficulty is both at the agency level, becoming comfortable with this form of conversational information, and at the ground level is how do we get more information? How do we feed the machine? How do we get information from the field where we have little internet or cell capability in a more timely fashion that we can use so we can talk to people more frequently? One is that, like I said, at the ground level, we are developing systems or trying to develop systems that allow us to get more information. Rather than waiting for people to come into the field, does it mean I need to send someone out with a division supervisor on a really active division in a neighborhood and have that public information officer feed information back to me at camp? Maybe that's what I need to do. We've talked about things like we have a plane we call air attack, and air attack is sort of what flies over the top of the fire to keep track of all the aircraft and everything that's going on. Well, air attack has an aerial view of exactly what's going on. Why can't air attack call in once an hour with some information? We have eyes in the sky. Let's use what we have to get. We just haven't traditionally done that. So we're trying to develop these new means of communications and new relationships with our operations people. Part of that battle is just having operations people understand what it is we need and that there is validity to what we need. The second part of the problem is proving the validity of what we say we need. I need people because I don't have time. I'm not a researcher. I'm not a scholar in this area. I'm a user. And I don't have the time, nor do I have really the attention span to do a lot of research about how effective we've been. But in order to have proof of concept to the agency and to the people on the ground to say, this is real and this is working, I need I need to coordinate with people who do that kind of research and who are good at it. And the thing about a conference like what we had at the Wilson Center was that all of a sudden I'm introduced to a world of people who are doing this research. And that's an amazing thing for me, because they have the ability to tabulate information about an incident. I have an incident about which I need tabulation. So the two fit very well together, and I'm hoping that we end up with some resulting relationships that will help them test either applications, or they want their people to have time in the field and see what the real life situation is that we are when we're in a tent in the dirt in the middle of a farmer's field. Is very difficult in controlled environment, perhaps at a university. So we can offer people those real opportunities. Ultimately, what matters to me is, are we reaching the public we need to reach in the way we need to reach them? But beyond that is, does it matter? Did something happen by using this tool? Because it is just a tool in our toolbox. Did something better happen as a result that made people feel more comfortable, made them less afraid, made them less worried, made them feel as though someone was listening, that someone was talking to them, that we were transparent in what we were doing, that they had awareness of the decisions that we were making? All of those things are what I want a result for. That's why we're doing this. But someone else smarter than me has got to do the research on that, and I think they call it sentiment analysis. How do I hear from the public and know if they feel better now than they felt before? I'm hoping that we can have some of that happen, because that's what all of this doesn't matter. Doing it matters not a whit if it doesn't get us anywhere. We all know that one-on-one relationships are always best, and we will never give up those old ways of doing things. That is, we call it a trap line, which is where we walk through a town and talk to people and give them maps and answer questions. Nothing will ever replace one-on-one. But in a big incident, I can't one-on-one with 4,000 people. I need another way. And I think social media is a lot closer than emailing you a press release to one-on-one conversations.